Hey, everybody, live from our Missouri studios. This is TPIM SR Live. I'm your host, True Powers Mine. TPIM SR Live is filmed live in front of a live studio audience. I just want to say I apologize for the earlier broadcast. We suffered a power failure, and I'm just now able to get back on. The point of information I was trying to bring earlier this morning and trying to illustrate overall was the fact that we are all kind of, well, basically doomed. It's just us. And we're unable to unite. So with that being said, I want you all to understand the things that are coming our way. Why? And realize too that this could have all been avoided with just a little unity and understanding and dignity and respect. But seeing how we get animosity, envy, jealousy, and greed and fear, this is where we're ending up at. Now, to continue on with what we were talking about earlier, like here's the slave ships. Look, hold on. I was listening to this earlier. I want you guys to hear this.
1704, there's a black kid. There are a whole bunch of slaves coming in from Africa on a slave vessel called the Eagle. The Eagle is heading towards America. There's a young black boy on there, along with some other older slaves. The slaves decide to revolt on the ship, and they took over and knocked the captain down, took over the ship, and took the weapons. And we're going to fight to take over control of the ship and head it towards back towards Africa. And as one of the older slaves grabbed a machete, and he said he's going to kill the captain so they can completely have control of the ship. As he swung at the captain, a young black slave jumped up and got in the way and protected the captain, and took the blows himself, which chopped off one of his arms and protected the captain. And by protecting the captain was able to recover the control of the vessel, put down the insurrection, and they then hung all the blacks who were trying to revolt, except the young black kid who was only 19. When the captain got to America, he gave him to supposedly a benevolent slave owner and rewarded him with recognition, and says that after he's been educated and recovered from his wounds, that he's to be set free. And again, this young boy, he placed more importance on protecting other people than getting his free people out of a dilemma. But he was rewarded and recognized for it, and he personally benefited at the expense of his own people. That was in 1704. 1705, the colonies said, what we need to do now is pass slave codes so we can regulate slaves' behavior, period. Slave codes were passed to tell you exactly how every black person must act in America, what he could not do, and what every white person must do to make sure black folks stayed in line. Then they passed another law at the same time, which is still in effect today. It was called the Diversity Act of 1705. You all call it multicultural and cultural diversity. You all understand what I'm saying to you? I want you all to understand history. If you ever want to figure out how to get out of your dilemma, never spend your time trying to work on anything unless you know how it got into place. And then you take it out of place. The multiculturalism and cultural diversity started in 1705. They passed a law at the same time, said, how do we control black folk now? They said, now that we got all these blacks coming to the country, we got a good thing going. They said, because now all over Europe is being advertised, if you want to become wealthy and powerful, go to America. We guarantee if you go to America, we give you free land and free labor. You have to be an idiot not to get rich. You don't have to do anything. We'll give you all the land you want and and England started a franchising system, so which means even if you couldn't afford to buy slaves, we had a franchising concept, which means England would give you the land and give you the slaves. All you do is pay them a commission, just like McDonald's and Burger King. That's where the whole franchising concept came from. But from England with slavery. And so people rushed into this country. But they had to set up external controls, saying, how do we control them when they get here? But all these blacks coming into the country, because I just told you, 6 out of every 7 persons coming across the Atlantic were black folk. They were pouring into the country. But they want to make sure enough whites are here to benefit and get the fruits of black folks' labor. And so they passed the cultural diversity, which says, the cultural diversity law says, for every 5 blacks you own, you must have 1 white person. You must always have 1 white person there to monitor, to make sure that black folk are being monitored and kept under control, that you understand what they're up to. That law stayed into effect, never went out of effect. Now comes 1710. Now when 1710 came, here's the main point of my talk today. 1710 did something that is totally devastating. Totally devastating. The Virginia colony in 17 passed what they call meritorious manumission. Meritorious manumission says, what we're going to do now, if we put up the external controls in 1705, we must have internal controls. We don't have the time to go around and monitor and watch all these black folk coming into this country. We must build in some kind of internal management control. We must build in a way like the Rodney King syndrome, that kind of thing. And we must build into black folk an inappropriate behavior pattern. We must teach black folk to see things upside down in an unrealistic manner. And what they did very systematically was like taking glasses and painting pictures on it upside down. And we found out in laboratories in sociology and psychology that even if you paint the world upside down for a person to put glasses on their eyes, we found that the subjects can learn to live upside down. They learn how to adjust their reach and what they're doing. And we watched it over and over again in experiments with young people in school, where we paint the pictures upside down and say, what do you see? And the mind has the ability to flip things back over to where the reality becomes the unreal. That the unreal becomes the reality. And once you do that, you got your people nailed to the wall. So meritorious manumission came in effect in 1710 and says, we will reward, we will recognize, we will set free any black person that does 1 of 4 things. 1, if you in fact will save a white person's life. I told you about the young man on the boat with the eagle, 5, 6 years before that. If you save a white person's life, you will get your freedom. 2, if you protect the white person's property. 3, if you invent something that a white person can make wealth and power off of, some kind of an invention. And 4, if you in fact will squeal on, inform on, or tell on your own people. That was called meritorious manumission. Now, you all might say, why is that important? I'm going to tell you, that was so devastatingly important. And the reason it was so important is because that created a magnificent control system that has never been duplicated. Never been duplicated. As a matter of fact, it's only been replicated 1 time that I know of, and I'm usually pretty current on most issues in this country, psychological, sociological, and educational in this country. Only 1 time it's been duplicated. It was duplicated in the 1950s. The communists duplicated it in Korea. They call it brainwashing. Now, you might ask, what is brainwashing? Now, typically people in the 1950s, when it happened in the Korean War, we talked about brainwashing. See, I was a safety and survival engineer for my squadron. I was in the Marine Attack Squadron. My primary responsibility is to teach my people how to survive. We had a school for brainwashing in Roberts Point, Hawaii. Teach them how to survive. What's brainwashing? Well, most people, at least the guys in the Marine Corps, they thought that brainwashing would be some kind of a inhumane way of treating people. It would be no less than pulling out fingernails, driving bamboo splinters between the joints, hanging people up in the cold and castrating them, what we call the Chinese water torture, But brainwashing was none of those things. It was none of those things. Brainwashing was simply a very sophisticated form of re-education. And see, for you all in the auditorium this morning, brainwashing, so that you always remember, is nothing but group therapy run in reverse. We always remember that. Now, the whole point of group therapy is to bring people together. Brainwashing is to turn it backwards and scatter people apart. And that was very effective in Korea against our troops. And see, now I'm going to show you the different parallel of what happened in 1710 and what happened in 1950, so you can understand the implications of what's happened to black folk in America. Otherwise, you can't deal with the issue. So in 1950, we had approximately 7,000 Americans in prisoner war camps in North Korea and China. 7,000 Americans have been captured and put into war camps before they were subjected to brainwashing. And after they were subjected to brainwashing, starting from the time they were captured, do you know that in that course of time, almost 4 years, we did not have one single solitary American prisoner to escape from a prisoner war camp? That had never happened in the history of this nation. That you can contain that many soldiers in one or two places and never have one to escape. Not one escaped out of 7,000 in almost 4 years. And to tell you the truth, in some of those camps, they didn't even have fences or walls up. Some of them didn't even have guards. And our people could not escape because of the techniques of brainwashing that was used on them. You would say, now, what was happening to them? They were being devastatedly re-educated. And this is the same identical technique that was used in 1710 on black folk. The whole concept of integration was the same thing that today. They scattered them. Now, what happened in Korea? In Korea, we know certain kind of things were happening to the prisoners. They didn't act like prisoners anymore. See, when a guy when he was captured as a prisoner, the first responsibility was try to escape, not to participate, not to cooperate with the enemy, not to compromise one's principles. That to always try to fight, resist, and get out, and to compete to help your own people to escape if you can. Didn't happen in Korea. Because you see, brainwashing, reverse technique of group therapy, first of all, what it did, it divided the soldiers against each other. Divided the soldiers against each other. And there's a whole revolutionary principle that says that a revolution comes when two people get together and begin to conspire. You can never have a revolution or an insurrection on earth as long as you drive a wedge between the first two people. You drive a wedge between the first two people, you'll never have a revolt. And in Korea, we never had a revolt. Secondly, people can only organize if they get together. But see, what the communists did, they started an information system, a squealing system, an informing system. And what we found in Korea was they had the most massive, widespread information system ever on earth, where people were recognizing other people or identifying other people who were planning on escaping. And what the communists were doing was telling people, look, you all got a responsibility now as a prisoner. If you hear about another prisoner talking about escaping, it's your responsibility to inform on him and tell on him. And if you do that, we'll reward you. You get an extra candy bar and apple. And once that happens, you see pretty soon, the soldiers didn't know who to trust anymore. They didn't know who to tell anything to. If he was planning on escaping, who did he tell? He didn't know what the other guy's going to turn him in for a reward. And so the organization broke down, right? And they quit communicating and sharing information to each other. And all of a sudden, you were planning on escape. Next day, someone drags you out in the cold, strips you down, and pours ice water on you at 26 below zero because somebody just turned you in for an apple and a piece of candy. And see, that's what happened in meritorious manumission in 1710 when blacks were being rewarded for turning in other blacks. See, also what it does, it not only does not, it stops your communication, it stops your ability to organize, but also it broke down what we have to have is a sense of community. In none of those camps did they have a sense of community anymore in Korea. Without a sense of community, you have no way of doing the things that have to be done as a human being. And so in the prison war camps in Korea, all of a sudden the camps became filthy, the black camps. Nobody built latrines. Nobody made sure there was food and blankets passed out. Nobody took care of the sick. Because you don't have a community anymore. Without a community, you can't do anything. So we didn't have a community in Korea, in the camps. And out of the 7,000 prisoners you had in Korea, almost half of them died. They didn't die because anybody shot them. They died from the fact that they were unable to function appropriately, to take care of themselves, to function as a community. They no longer had what you gotta have, and what black folk had taken from them through meritorious manumission. See, once you get a community, the next thing you must have above that is your trust. You cannot have trust if you don't have a community. I always hear black folks say, "Doctor, that's the only thing you say are true, but how can I get another black folk when I don't trust them?" You don't trust them because you don't have a community. And and above trust comes cooperation. But Doctor, I don't want to work with him. No, because you don't trust him. So it goes community, trust, cooperation. And that's what they did in Korea. They killed the community. The black soldiers no longer had community, and prisoners no longer had a sense of a community. They no longer had a sense of who they were, what they were about, the business of, and who they were. And all of a sudden, that kind of an oppressive system of rewarding people for identifying with the enemy, and that's what the Koreans are doing, saying you identify with us, and we'll reward you and give you a can and an apple. And when they started rewarding people, the community was destroyed. And their soldiers fell apart. And over half of them died. And so the next thing that happened to us, what also happened to the black community, after 1710, they moved into a thing what we call give-up-itis. All of a sudden, the soldiers in Korea, in those camps, no longer cared about anything anymore. So when I come into the Crenshaw district and I said, "Why don't you do this?" They said, "Well, we don't care anymore." Same thing happened in the prisoner war camps. The soldiers didn't care. And once they lost caring, they were through. Nobody could save them anymore. And at night, over 40% of those soldiers would pull blankets over their head and just sit there in the corner and die for no apparent reason. Not for physical reasons. It was called give-up-itis, and you've seen it in hospitals. That's when a person would die long before he's supposed to. And you ask why. When a husband passed and the wife would die 6 months later, 3 months later. Not for any medical reason, because they no longer have a will to live. And that's what happened in those camps. We lost over half our soldiers because they lost their will to live. And see, after meritorious manumission was put on black folk in 1710, black folk, a lot of them began to lose their will to live and to care and be responsible. So jumping back to 1710, so you understand what brainwashing is and the effect on black folk. I want you all to understand that was a re-educational system. So that happened in 1710. The word spread. And down in Jamaica, there was a fellow named Willie Lynch that heard about it. And he was already running a seasoning school for slaves in the South of Jamaica. So then he caught a boat and headed for America, headed for Virginia, where the meritorious manumission had been initially enacted. He got there in 1712. And just like the communists did in Korea, he came up with the same expression: "Gentlemen, I'm here to take care of your needs. I can show you how to do what you want to have done. I can show you how to divide these slaves so they'll never recover, or at least it'll take 300 years before they can do it." So some of you might wonder why I picked in my book the year 2013. This coming year in 2013 would be almost exactly 300 years since Willie Lynch put his methods on black folk. He said it would take 300 years. He said, "What I'll do is to show you how you divide blacks. You divide blacks along the lines of skin color. You rig it so every black will look at another black skin color first and say, is he a yellow black or black black? And that way you've already divided them. You divide them along the lines of sex. So that all of a sudden you have black women joining the feminist movement against their own black men. They're trying to beat them out of jobs and opportunity and visibility to take care of their families. So you divide them along the lines of sex. Then you divide them along the lines of age, where the old turn against the young turn against the old, and say, "You're ancient, you're old, I don't want to listen to you anymore." And it worked very effectively. And Willie Lynch put that on them. It's called divide and conquer. Divide and conquer was the same in 1710 as it was in 1950 in Korea. And black folk became invited. And so from 1750 up to about from 1710 up to 1750, the system started going into effect. The social conditioning, the brainwashing of black folk took on full steam then. Because see now, they were very concerned about all these black slaves. We had to control them. And people said, well, how do you control, how are we going to control them? They said, the first way, and there are three ways you do it, but the first way is by physical control. Always control a black person physically. That's what slavery is about. The second way of controlling what's called Jim Crowism. Then you control him legally. Then the third way you control him is when we came out of the civil rights movement, which means symbolically. You control him by manipulating symbols. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. So they went into the first thing of controlling black folk physically with slavery. By 1750, the black population got up to 34% in America. And they were very concerned about this. Because you see, all these slaves were pouring in across the water, so they started advertising to bring in more immigrants. It's what we need are more white immigrants to dilute. Remember, I told you the Diversity Act said we must have so many whites. So we got to have an immigration law that bring in more whites to neutralize blacks out, to keep them contained, to keep them as a minority. We'll fix it so they love that word minority. They'll use it all the time and call themselves that. Even though we know the minority means loser. We'll turn the world upside down, they'll call themselves loser, loser, loser. So by 1750, black population hit 34%. So what the white society started doing then, it says, we must do what they didn't say that then, but the effect was the same. What happened in Korea? We must isolate them. So every Indian treaty from that point on started putting in conclusions saying that you must also stay away from black folk. They built into all the Indian treaties incentives for them not to identify with black folk because they afraid that if Indians and blacks got together, they could overthrow the country. So Indians were given incentives then to turn against black people. And that's why later on you find that the biggest killers of black folk for a long period of time were Indians. Because they were given incentives. For instance, if you raided a town or a village, guess who was the first person you run into in the fields? Was a black person. And seeing you had laws because the slave codes of 1705 says a black person could not arm himself, he couldn't carry a weapon, he couldn't carry a tool, he could not raise his hand to defend himself, he could not strike back. So Indians say, hey, we got a good guy to raid. I mean, this is like shooting ducks. And the whites knew that. When they put the blacks out in the field, they used blacks for burglar alarms. So every time it was an Indian raid, they the ones that went down first. And that's why all the 5 civilized tribes in America then became slaveholders. All the 5 civilized Indian tribes were slaveholders. Not only were slaveholders, they were slave traders. And more important than that, in all the treaties, typically in a treaty, they paid the Indians $20 for every runaway slave they chased down and brought him back. And that's why also when the Civil War came, all the 5 civilized tribes in America fought with the side of the South to prefer slavery because they didn't want to lose their money and wealth either. And I still have blacks running around saying, well, I'm half Indian. Nobody wants to be black. I mean, even if there's people that have been misusing your people too, but you don't want to be it. They'll tell me about how, well, I'm 3/4 white. I can't stand black folk. I'm 3/4 white. I said, why would you want to be white rather than blacks? I said, blacks didn't enslave you. Blacks didn't Jim Crow you. Blacks didn't castrate and lynch you and exploit you. And see, that's that upside down that would make black folks see things upside down and wrong. It's inappropriate behavior. Inappropriate behavior pattern was instituted on us to make sure we saw everything backwards. That way when we ran, we thought we were running the right way, we were running the wrong way, and they knew it. And that's why you later hear me tell black folk all over America that my people, black folk, are doing everything wrong and not even doing it wrong right. because everything is pointed upside down for us, so they can't see which way to run. And so at that time, in 1750s, the colonies then tried to figure out how to contain the whole issue. So we got our controls in place, we got the social conditioning in place, and I think we got blacks pretty well where we need them. We got them nailed down. So then they then started telling England, don't send any more slaves over here to make sure it works. So Continental Congress sent all kind of letters to England saying, don't send any more slaves to make sure our system of control works. But England said, no, I'm gonna keep sending them. We're getting rich off of it. England said, we're making a fabulous amount of money because we set up the Navigational Act in 1650, which says, I don't care what you all produce in America, it must come back to England first to be processed, and you all buy it back from us. And when you buy it back from us, we're going to charge you 3 or 4 times the price of it. And so when England decided to have a Revolutionary War to break away from England, they didn't put that in the history book, what the real reason they want to break away from England was for. 1, because they were scared to death of black folk getting free over here and tying in with the Indians. 2, they wanted to reverse that whole shipping process, saying if we made all the products in America, we raised the cotton, the corn, the beans, the rice, everything, why are we sending it to you and buying it back from you? So that's what the Revolutionary War was over. And plus, England was also getting rich off the slaves because England was only paying $25, $35 a piece for every slave they were buying on the west coast of Africa. $25 to $35 a piece. But they created a system called capitalism, which says that I also want a 1,500% return on my money, my investment. Which means if I pay $25 for a black slave on West Africa, I want to be able to sell them in America for $400 to $500 a piece. And so England was becoming a very rich and powerful nation. It's like most of it. But that was not only England, but you had all the other slave countries became rich. That was Portugal, Spain, England, Germany, and the Arab nations. All of them were becoming wealthy off of black folk. Off a combination of 2 things, extracting the wealth out of Africa, the material wealth, and selling the human labor. And after the Revolutionary War, the first act of Congress, they set up a Congress in the United States. The first act of Congress said, let's solve this problem with the slaves. So the first thing they did was pass what they call the First Immigration Act that says this is a white nation, and the quota on blacks coming here other than as a slave is 0. 0, zip, none, nothing.
All right. I just wanted to play a little excerpt from that. Got kind of carried away. All right. And once again, guys, you can find all this information. It's not that terribly hard. So I asked, what are we going to do collectively? If there's even a collective voice on this matter. I think that we're going to hold on. I was running a computer scan in the background, so that's good. Not hacked, at least not now. At the moment, Brother David, Brother Kenneth, Brother Murders, Brother Leon, what can we do today to offset what's coming our way? I mean, I put up the gangster rap stuff so that you guys can see the images of being, bad or whatever. And like Doctor said, we're being bad, but we're being bad in the wrong way. Everything's backwards. Nothing can be done until you fix what you built on two of. Yes, sir. Truth as always. In other words, if you build your house upon a volcano rim, you can't really be surprised when it burns up one day. If you build your home upon hate and injustice, you really can't be surprised when people expect repayment. Now, the hate thing, you can't stop it. People are going to hate. That's just what they do. But one thing we can do, though, we don't have to. Okay, no, you're not getting that. Now go. what we can do is understand that just as this picture has been, made, baby, come on. Just as this picture has been, go to PJ's room, play. What? Oh my God. She's not stopping. Okay, I'll pick you up. There. Now, just as a, I don't want to open that for you so you can get it everywhere. See, this is what I'm saying. This child is not going to be appeased. Stop. Leave that alone. Oh my gosh, good. You got all the toys. She wants me to open this water bottle, but I'm not going to do it. Because I know what's going to happen. I've seen her activities with water bottles. And she's just going to force this on me. No. No, you two go and play. No. Yes, please. No. Please go and play. Water empty. Here, go and take this and open it up for her in Bubby's room. Go. No. Go. Yeah, you're welcome. Go. Okay, fine. You can take that. Now go. You're welcome. All right. Now, oh my God. Hold on. There's something I want to show you guys. Oh my God, it just came to me. Thank you, Most High. 21 bridges. Dun, 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 dun. Mr. Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, hunts cop killers. Remember the story about the little slave that jumped up and gets the arm chopped off, saving the captain? Well, there he is. Now, this is New York City. New York City that has been known to choke black men out on the corner selling loose cigarettes. New York City, which is known to shoot down, gun down, traditionally unarmed black folks committing crime because of systemic poverty that Doctor has talked about already. And now they got a fictitious fantasy story about this dude going around killing cop killers. And I guarantee you the cop killers that he kills are melanated people. I almost guarantee it 100%. They have this all-star boule cast. All right. I'm just saying. I am just saying. But, go and check it out, guys. Maybe it will bring back. I just want to show you some of the images. Get off the window. Jesse Smollett. And that's all they need to bring him in. So in this film, as we all know, the Black Panther film, he basically beat up Killmonger who wanted to use technology to uplift the people. All right. This guy wanted to share the technology with the powers that be already. And now he's on 21 bridges. Wow, this is how you typecast. Look at that. Here's the movie trailer. 21 bridges. I would play the hold on. I would play the deal, but I don't want no copyright crap. That's images for 21 bridges. And here's the if you have your Googles with you or any type of chat search engine, you can follow me. Open to the Hollywood, no Wakanda. Yeah. It should be called Bamboozled. The nation of Bamboozled. Bamboozled forever. I'm just saying. Because this stuff is not about anything, man. It's about, basically, this movie right here. Let me get up to it. Let me go all the way back. That movie right there was letting you know straight up African American or Black American or Native Indigenous Melanated American. The cries for justice of your ancestors is going to go unheard. Justice for your ancestors who gives a shit. It's all about who has power now. It's all about serving the international community, which, let me remind everyone, there has not been one nation coming talking about we want to free the African Americans, melanated peoples of North and South America. And they won't be coming. So this reinforces the whole, as long as you put into the system in a protective role, then you're going to get a little reward. You're going to get a little cornbread, a little plate of beans. But that's all you're going to get. Because this is bamboozled forever. Now, hold on. That just happened. I just happened to see that when I was looking at one of my videos. It came on the... Excuse me. It came on the deal. Hold on. I got a very colorful playlist. These two have been incredibly popular. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to get back to one of those, the old ones. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, yes. Hold on. Hold on. Alex Jones says he wants to go back to 1775. Hold on. I got to make this bigger. No, I want to do this so that you guys understand. Here we go. Listen to this. Listen to this and understand.
Anyone who's watched this show over the past few weeks knows I've taken a pretty strong stand on guns in America. It's not escaped the notice of supporters of gun rights, and it's led to a petition on the White House official website, no less. It's entitled, and I quote, "Deport British citizen Piers Morgan for attacking Second Amendment." Take a look. More than 104,000 people have signed it so far. And joining me now is one of the people behind the petition, Alex Jones. He's host of the Alex Jones Show. Welcome to you.
Piers, thanks for having me.
Why do you want to deport me?
Well, we did it as a way to bring attention to the fact that we have all of these foreigners and the Russian government, the official Chinese government. Mao said political power goes out of the barrel of a gun. He killed about 80 million people because he's the only guy that had the guns. So we did it to point out that this is globalism, and the mega banks that control the planet and brag that they've taken over in Bloomberg, AP, Reuters, you name it, brag that they're going to get our guns as well. They've taken everybody's guns but the Swiss and the American people. And when they get our guns, they can have their world tyranny while the government buys 1.6 billion bullets, armored vehicles, tanks, helicopters, Predator drones, armed.
That was obviously the wrong deal. Hold on, check this out.
To this particular premise, God, no. You anger me.
Do I really?
Yes.
Do I really anger you?
You do. Because I think it's a deliberately provocative stance.
No, not
It's
at all.
designed to annoy and agitate people who have a sincere belief.
I don't think so at all. You won't find in this book anywhere any attacks on people. I mean, one of the things, I don't know if you've seen the Book of Mormon, Matt Stone and Trey
Yeah,
Parker,
it's brilliant.
which they describe as a love letter to religion from an atheist. And that's one of the things Matt said about it. And a lot of this talking, I've been talking to Matt and Trey for years about this. And when they did the Richard Dawkins episode of South Park, one of the things we talked about is that idea of bitterness and the idea of the anger that comes from that. And I am a huge fan of proselytizing. I am a huge fan of speaking your mind. The only way we can share the universe, the only way we can share humanity is by talking very strongly about what we believe.
You are the chief atheist out there. How did you get here? How did we get here?
Well, let me ask you, how did we get here?
I believe in this superior being, a God.
Of course.
And therefore the questions which always baffle atheists, the hard reality of life, I believe there is something greater out there. There's a greater entity, which is a spiritual being,
but what is
that allows comprehension on a scale we could never understand.
If it's a comprehension,
but if you don't believe in that superior being, what do you think happened?
If it's comprehension on a scale that we can't possibly understand, aren't you done? Why do you need to label that as something that's God or something?
Because I've never heard an atheist explain to me
a humility to saying I don't know.
Because I never hear an atheist give me any answers to how.
All right, now there's a method to my madness, folks. Bear with me. This here is a picture of Baphomet. It's obviously a little white girl right here, and it almost appears to be a little either a black girl or black boy right here. You can tell by the hair. Now, how many Satanists are there? And I want to show you something with the hand symbol. The white child with the hands down to the side, clenched in a fist. The hand is pointed up on Baphomet. The black child or melanated child with the hand across the heart and chest, the hand is down. Power goes up, rules come down. You see that? They're letting you know. And then as you look at the body language on the statue itself, the legs cross, showing this leg right here blocking this child, and this leg underneath this is showing it's open to this child. I say this to let you know, as this type of mindset increases, don't forget most of the SS, if not all, weren't Christian. They were like pagan. They believed in their own little religion. When this comes to be, guys, I refuse to see shit. I refuse to see this shit. I denounce Satan, Baphomet, and all its faults. Oh, absolutely, Brother Al. But as an educational show, I have to educate the people on the imagery right in front of them. We have been under attack. Well, let's go back to Slave Code 1705. Hold on.
The Virginia Slave Codes of 1705 were a series of laws enacted by the colony of Virginia's House of Burgesses regulating activities related to interactions between slaves and citizens of the Crown Colony of Virginia.
Okay. So what am I saying, guys? Let this be witness for the Most High that you was here on this day. You saw the blasphemers put up their idolatry. You saw the blasphemers put the plan in motion. And you know for a fact the blasphemers never did correct the wrong against the ancestors. That's all I'm saying. Brother Leonard, they love the Baphomet. Why do you think they're all this tranny worship? And don't forget, they're putting daughters, women, in danger. Now, I don't care what you guys, or not what you guys, but I'm talking about people who are listening to this and they're not really affiliated with the show. I don't care what you guys, if you guys hate women or not. But it's pretty stupid to put men with fake breasts in the ring against natural women. And the only person that edifies is Satan, because he is the one who enjoys confusion. They're trying to sink the lower states, parts of Texas. Well, you can thank global warming. That's not real, Brother Al, for that. If those ice caps melt as they predict, then we're going to have a huge situation. Now, this is what these folks are all scared about.
Still using Google? I have something to show you.
No, you don't have nothing to show me, buddy. Hold on. We're just going to have this playing in the background. But I will still be talking. Hold on.
Instruments of debt. And when the Fed purchases these bonds, with money it essentially created out of thin air, the government is actually promising to pay back that money to the Fed. In other words, the money was created out of debt. This mind-numbing paradox of how money or value can be created out of debt or a liability will become more clear as we further this exercise. So, the exchange has been made and now $10 billion sits in a commercial bank account. Here's where it gets really interesting. For as based on the fractional reserve practice, that $10 billion deposit instantly becomes part of the bank's reserves, just as all deposits do. And regarding reserve requirements, as stated in modern money mechanics, a bank must maintain legally required reserves equal to a prescribed percentage of its deposits. It then quantifies this by stating, under current regulations, the reserve requirement against most transaction accounts is 10%. This means that with a $10 billion deposit, 10% or $1 billion is held as the required reserve, while the other $9 billion is considered an excessive reserve and can be used as the basis for new loans. Now, it is logical to assume that this $9 billion is the bank never had the money as property, provided the loan to purchase it. Only when and circulated randomly through commerce, people become detached from their original debt, and a disequilibrium exists where people are forced to compete for labor in order to pool enough money out of the money supply to cover their costs. The poor pockets of society that get the short end of the stick. An analogy would be a game of musical chairs, for once the music stops, somebody is left out to dry. And that's the point. It invariably transfers true wealth from the individual to the banks. For if you are unable to pay for your mortgage, they will take your property. This is particularly enraging when you realize that not only is such a default inevitable due to the fractional reserve practice, but also because of the fact that the money that the bank loaned to you didn't even legally exist in the first place. In 1969, there was a Minnesota court case involving a man named Jerome Daly, who was challenging the foreclosure of his home by the bank which provided the loan to purchase it. His argument was that the mortgage contract required both parties, being he and the bank, each put up a legitimate form of property for the exchange. In legal language, this is called consideration. Mr. Daly explained that the money was, in fact, not the property of the bank, for it was created out of nothing as soon as the loan agreement was signed. Remember what modern money mechanics stated about loans? What they do when they make loans is to accept promissory notes in exchange for credits. Reserves are unchanged by the loan transactions, but deposit credits constitute new additions to the total deposits of the banking system. In other words, the money doesn't come out of their existing assets. The bank is simply inventing it, putting up nothing of its own, except for a theoretical liability on paper.
Bam! That's what I want you guys to hear. Now, what's the excuses for paying out reparations again when the money is artificially made? Are you kidding me? What's stopping it now for righting the economic wrongs of melanated people again? Brother Murder? Brother David, Brother Al, Brother Leonard, Brother Nay, sir, and everyone else listening. If the money is artificially created out of thin air, then what's holding up economic justice for the people? Pure and simple hate. just hate. Yeah, we this won't even come out of our pocket. We can give you guys what you need. This won't even come out of our pockets, but we're not going to do it because we really seriously do not want to see you thriving and prospering.
And that stayed in effect until 1966, when it was raised to 1/2 of 1%. And I still see black folk displaying inappropriate behavior. They can't figure out why you cannot get Haitians into the country. I said, God knows, don't you know what your law is? The reason you cannot get Haitians into the country because they're still fearful of you getting a large, significant black population and being a threat to the society. I said, anytime you got boats floating around off the west coast of Africa for 3 months, you had over 3,000, 4,000 blacks on there who were sick, starving to death. Not one single country offered to bring them in. Not this country. At the same time, this country has had refugee programs for every racial and ethnic extraction on earth but black folk. And where is our...
Now, hopefully you heard the doctor and you understand what he was saying. And you understand what this man's saying with the way money's being made. Listen to it.
As the court case progressed, the bank's president, Mr. Morgan, took the stand, and in the judge's personal memorandum, he recalled that the plaintiff, bank's president, admitted that, in combination with the Federal Reserve Bank, did create the money and credit upon its books by bookkeeping entry. The money and credit first came into existence when they created it. Mr. Morgan admitted that no United States law or statute existed which gave him the right to do this. A lawful consideration must exist and be tendered to support the note. The jury found that there was no lawful consideration, and I agree. He also poetically added, only God can create something of value out of nothing.
And by the the Federal Reserve being able to print money out of nothing, essentially, legally, they are, in essence, your God. When you use their notes to pay and do your operation on a day-to-day basis, that's your form of worship. You do this every day. If you don't do it, then you're thinking about how to get their little notes or talismans. This is all coming together. I'm showing you the spiritual side, the economic side, and the emotional side of human beings all coalescing together and pointed right at you. And this is what we don't get. This is why, like the doctor said, we keep acting inappropriately. You know, when someone takes the butt of their gun and breaks it against your skull and your eyes pop out, you don't turn around and look at this person and say, I'm sorry for having a hard head. You ask this person before you peace out, if you want to, if you don't just feel like cussing them and trying to fight, why are you killing me? Why are you murdering me? Because we do not act right. All right? And that's the problem. That is the big, big problem. And we're going to have to overcome this problem somehow, some way. Because too much is at stake. It says on the money, in God we trust. Gold, oil, diamonds. That's accurate. Those are definitely things that they utilize to generate wealth. But the Most High is the creator of all of that. You know, one thing that Brother Ted said yesterday, Ted Hayes, when he was on the show, that out of black folks, There's only like 187 million of us with kinky, nappy hair. Everyone else is straight haired. You got straight haired people, blue eyed people, Asian eyed folks, light brown folks, albino folks, and all these people hate you. It's sad. They don't even know you. They see your naps as a threat. They see your kinks as subversion. They see your beautiful melon. Because think about it. I can show you different skin colors. I can show you different skin colors with Asian eyes. I can show you different skin colors with blue eyes. I can show you different skin colors with straight and curly hair, like curly, like I guess the people who wore those, the judges who wore the wigs, that type of curly. I can show you people of different skin colors with height and different similarities. But there's only one group of people on Earth with the hair, with the nappy, kinky, compactive hair. And that is you and me and the other 187 million folks that appear like us. What's going on in there? What happened? And today is not just about hair. This ain't no So Glow ad. So Glow. I want your perception to change. Oh, what's wrong, baby? Come here. What's wrong? What? You want a bottle? Are you gonna go and play now? Are you gonna go and play? All right. Love you. Go. Go and play. Have fun. All right. Now, I know a lot of people. No, here. I know a lot of people, when you think about it, when we deal with racism, it can't be like how we apparently deal with rape. Like if a chick gets raped or whatever. Hey, Sister Janice, welcome to this. I had a power outage. I lost power here, and I was just now able to come back on. Now, when we deal with issues like rape, a woman can stand up and tell the most horrendous story, and everyone believes her right off bat. Oh, yeah, he did it. But thanks to people like Smollett and others, when people stand up and share their stories about being discriminated against or racism, on suddenly we have to validate this person's either truthful or not. Well, yeah, this one we can't blame on YouTube. But trust me, they're doing enough in the background. They cooked enough in the background. No, but about the gene thing, Brother David. No, once again, as a kinky-haired, melanated man in the United States of America, irregardless of what science has suggested, because I don't play that whole science game, because that's going to bite you on the ass, because you got to look at who invented that game. I perceive this world in two ways. One, I perceive it as it is pertaining to me. And two, I perceive it as it is presented in a propagandistic way to everyone. And then I analyze the differences. Like, if one thing the world says, all you got to do is get your bootstraps and tie them up and go out there and conquer the world, young man. And you get them bootstraps, you put them on, and you go outside and you face a gauntlet of racist, bigoted, vile individuals. Like right now, the Me Too movement, no one gives a second thought. Yeah, this chick had to go down on this guy to get a job. But no one can think, well, this black person's not getting these jobs because of their melanation in their skin. They shut it down, Janice. It was like, what the fuck? Over. I don't know about the whole 5G thing in my area. I know that we do have a tremendous, I film it sometime actually, a tremendous tower that has just been built, like the next hill over. Huge. Makes it average. It's about 3 times the height of an average cell tower. Really big, really beefy. It's not a radio broadcast. They claim it's a 911 tower, but I don't see how that could specifically pull 911 numbers off and all these other towers around. But, I know that earlier we were right in a nice groove with the information. It was powerful, and then it's just like, bam. Now, it's rainy here, but it's not cloudy. And I'm assuming that it was a power outage because I had the electricity. The computer just clicked on and off, and then whenever I'm using an old computer with some old programs on it in addition to Windows. So if I lose power and my computer turns off abruptly, let's say, I got a lot of programs that have to load up before I can get back into it. That makes sense. Because I try to live a hack-free lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you guys don't care about getting hacked, whatever. And hey, that's your right. That is your right. But me, myself, I'm very anti-hack. I'm pro, information sharing, but I'm anti, sneaking into my databases when I'm not looking. Get you a power management unit off tigerdirect.com. Oh, like one of those little boxes for your cable phone. Like if your electricity goes out, you still have this little energy reserve to make cable, like phone calls or whatever. Because see, this is the problem. What's going to happen to all the little cable companies when the United States government offers free Wi-Fi nationwide using 5G technology? Oh, you guys didn't see that one coming, did you? What's going to happen? We got to realize, man, the folks who are running things now are scared as hell. And oh shoot, that's exactly why I need them, brother. The people who are running it are scared. And every time we get these fools jumping up here, oh, let's get guns and let's rush the house, blah, blah, blah. All it does is makes them closer and closer and closer to pushing the green light. I only want one thing, and that's human freedom. I want you, brothers and sisters, to be able to live the life you want, worship the God that you choose. And I'd like to have the same consideration. Thank you, dear. Without all the rules and regulations that has traditionally been used to suppress me and my people. Now, if you're on the inside crew and all the rules have always basically helped you out economically and went into your favor, that's great. Good for you, you evil human being. Because what has been transpiring the talking about conspiracy, you know, every last one of these so-called truthers should be smacked. Because the Illuminati, blah, blah, blah. Man, that's a nice way of saying slave masters. I want people to understand that either all are free or none are free. By default, it is time to end slavery. We should pull back all of our military assets and go out with one asset, talking about if you have slaves in your country, whether they be sex slaves, field slaves, house slaves, whatever, we are going to liberate these people, and we're taking your land, and it is becoming a part of the United States. We're going to give black people the reparation they deserve, and we're going to print it using the Federal Reserve method of printing money out of thin air. And then bada bing, bada boom. You have access to black folks, melanated folks will have access to national state parks, to where they're the only ones who can go in there and buy, 40 acres or whatever they need to buy. Or, obviously laying out here for sale as well. And once that wrong has been rectified, then these United States of America will indeed be great. They'll be great to the extent that the problem that they caused, they fixed. Didn't really add nothing new to humanity. Just took off the hate that they are portraying themselves onto humanity. Israel owns America. America. We murder. We murder people around here. This is what America's about. Yes, unfortunately, Sister Janice. I hate the fact that we all know this, sister. I hate the fact that here we are, just two common human beings out here in the wilderness, and we can get it, but our elected leaders for some reason can't get it. The Vatican doesn't understand their role. Imams and rabbis don't get how they participated. And then when we look at all these groups, the highest echelons in all these groups is a white boy. Oh, you can call them Orthodox this or traditional that. But really, that's all it is. Look at the nation of Israel's hierarchy. Look at Saudi Arabia's hierarchy. Look at Iran's hierarchy. It's all white boys. Hell, even look at some of the Chinese, Japanese. And then we go to Kemet, and we peel back the onion layers. Once again, we find white. You may have a dark black outside or light brown outside, but once you pull it back, it's white controlled. Like Mark from Anaheim has said, man, black power, white controlled. And he doesn't believe in reparations. But that's from his point of view. I know good and well that people don't really talk about the ancestors now, so they could care less about that. But I know people are hurting now. Who out there knows a brother and sister that needs money? Who out there knows a brother and sister that's fighting a felonious case? Fighting for their little bit of so-called freedom that we have before they're placed straight up in slavery as a convict. Who knows a brother and sister right now worshiping a religion that if it was up to them, your ass would still be out there in the field? Now, a lot of people like to romanticize slavery and bullshit. There's nothing romantic, man, about at any moment you could get raped, you could get murdered, you could be forced to work until the point of death, you could get injured, heaven forbid, and then you get murdered because you're useless. So if you think slaves had it easy and was such a really good, well, come on over here. I got some work for you to do. We'll put together a little hut behind the house. I'll beat you up, make you go out there and pick cotton or pick green beans or whatever, cut grass with scissors. You just don't understand, folks. Time. I love Mark, but I believe he is chosen. You know, Janice, you might be right. I mean, it's without question. He views the world in a radically different way than most people do. That's without question at this point. Now you could be a Mark from Anaheim hater. I get it. You know, oh, he don't tell the truth. Oh, he don't tell all the truth. Oh, he has a hidden agenda. Oh, this. Oh, that. Okay, I get it. But if you listen to the information that he has been willing to share, point to me where he was wrong. Point to me where he was incorrect. Except for on the reparation issues and that issue, me and him don't agree on, I guess, philosophical reasons. I understand what he's saying. You get something from these people, it winds up being a trick bag and it ends up killing you. I get that. It's still slavery going on. It's called jobs. Yes, sir, brother. Miss going to work and see how quick you get thrown off the plantation. Exactly, brother David. GD, I said, ET, with crazy all. Grow y'all plants and chill. Put them cigs down. Who's hating on Mark? No rep. Facts. Well, brother David, there's a number of people that hate on Mark. Yes, he does, Patrick. Okay. There's a number of people who hate on Mark because of the fact that I actually erased their comments. Oh, I know that's horrible. Oh my God, I'm such a propagandistic person. Oh my God. I do that because, for one, I don't like seeing retarded comments, and two, you know, um, this is a safe space. And I don't have to say it's a safe space. These ass clowns know it's a safe place. You come up in here with your retarded bullshit, you get bland and you get fucking blocked. That's just what goes down. Now, I will be having Brother Mark on next Friday. All right, 5 p.m. Central Time. Please join me for that. Hopefully, I'll try to get him on before then as well. But I cannot promise you nothing. People hate the truth, and they want you to hate the reality of what's going on today. I will say this, and I'm going to say it again. And please, I don't mean to hurt your feelings if you're on the other side, but understand. There's only two types of folks on this planet. Type 1, consciously and willingly wants to be righteous, wants to serve God. Type 2, consciously and willingly don't want to speak righteous, don't want to serve God, but wants to have all the goodies. That's the only thing we're dealing with. And we better wake up. We better understand that there's more to this than just saying, I'm your boss. When they got people worshiping an image that more than likely is not the correct image, that right there should let you know, something's going on. Something's not quite right. Now, hopefully this has been something that has sparked you guys something to think about. I am expecting a phone call back from Dr. Short today. Try to get him on. Or trying to get Dr. Babalora on for Friday tomorrow. So I gotta go though. Oh my God, the kids are coming in here. I'm just gonna close this one down underneath my own steam. But thank you for watching TPIM SR Live. Today's date, April 25th, 2019, the year of our Lord. This completes this episode. As always, live your life with integrity, without hate, envy, or greed. And let's try to be kinder to each other. And thank you so much for the chat room, all your comments, all your support, all your guys' love, and most importantly, all your energy you guys are sending this way, man. You guys are awesome. Thank you, and peace.